What you're looking at is the same piece of land, 400 years apart. One was a silent wilderness of the Lenape. The other is the most powerful financial engine on the planet. But how did we get from that to this? In this deep dive, we are deconstructing New York City. We're breaking its history into 4 definitive eras. We'll survive the fires of the Revolution and witness the birth of the skyscraper, feel the grit of the 1970s, and stand atop the modern towers of today. This is the story of a city that has been burned, broken, and rebuilt. We've combined rare historical archives with cutting-edge AI reconstructions to show you the streets of Manhattan exactly as they were. Whether you're a history buff or a New York dreamer, you've never seen the city like this. For centuries, one incredible journey. Don't go anywhere. The evolution starts right now. Long before the steel giants touched the clouds, this was Manhattan, the island of many hills. For centuries, the Lenape people lived in harmony with these shores, navigating the clear waters of the Hudson and East Rivers. Imagine a Manhattan covered in ancient oaks and chestnut trees, where the only sounds were the wind and the tide. This was the silent beginning of the world's most famous skyline. In 1624, the world changed. The Dutch West India Company arrived, establishing New Amsterdam as a fur-trading outpost. At the southern tip, they built Fort Amsterdam and a protective wooden wall to the north. This barrier would eventually give its name to a place called Wall Street. It was a rugged, diverse, and chaotic settlement, where over 18 languages were already being spoken on the docks. The Dutch era was short-lived. In 1664, 4 British frigates sailed into the harbor. Without a shot being fired, the town was surrendered and renamed New York. In honor of the Duke of York, under British rule, the city began to stretch its limbs. Trade exploded, and the First Trinity Church rose toward the sky. The port of New York became the jewel of the Atlantic. But the spirit of independence was brewing. After the fire and fury of the American Revolution, New York emerged as the first capital of the new United States. In 1789, on the balcony of Federal Hall, George Washington took the oath of office. As the 18th century closed, Lower Manhattan was the heartbeat of a new nation, ready to grow upward and outward. As the 20th century dawned, New York stopped growing outward and started growing upward. The invention of the safety elevator and the steel frame turned Manhattan into a vertical frontier. This was the skyscraper race. In 1913, the Woolworth Building, the Cathedral of Commerce, became the tallest building in the world. From the tip of the Battery, the skyline began to take the jagged, iconic shape that would define the American century. Every block was a construction site. Every year, the record for height was broken. By the 1920s, Lower Manhattan was the undisputed financial heart of the planet. Money was flowing like water, and the streets of the financial district were canyons of ambition. Wall Street became a household name globally. This era saw the rise of Art Deco masterpieces, with their tiered setbacks and ornate crowns. The city was vibrating with jazz, innovation, and the belief that the boom would never end. But beneath the glitz of the Gilded Age, the world's economy was tethered to these few square blocks. The crash of 1929 brought the party to a silent halt. The skyscrapers remained, but the streets below told a story of struggle. Yet New York's resilience was forged in these years. During World War II, Lower Manhattan's piers became the port of embarkation, sending millions of soldiers to the front lines. The waterfront was a forest of cranes and smoke, a gritty, working-class engine that kept the world moving. The city wasn't just a financial hub. It was a fortress of industry. The post-war era brought a new vision: modernism. The ornate stone of the past gave way to the sleek glass and steel of the future. In the late 1960s, the landscape of Lower Manhattan was permanently altered by the construction of the World Trade Center. These 2 silver monoliths redefined the scale of the city, standing as symbols of global trade and architectural daring. By 1973, they were the tallest buildings in the world, anchoring a skyline that had become the most recognizable in human history. As the 1970s closed, New York stood as a jagged, brilliant monument to human reach. The 1980s turned Lower Manhattan into a theater of high-stakes ambition. Wall Street wasn't just a place, it was a global symbol of power and excess. As the concrete jungle grew denser, the financial district became a 24-hour engine of wealth. But this was a city of contrasts. While the towers gleamed, the streets below carried the grit of a New York still finding its footing. The subway cars were canvases of graffiti, and the waterfront was an industrial relic of the past. Yet, even then, the world was obsessed with the energy of the southern tip of Manhattan. On September 11, 2001, the world stopped. The loss of the Twin Towers left a physical and emotional void in the heart of New York that many thought could never be filled. Lower Manhattan was covered in ash, but in the silence that followed, a new kind of strength emerged. It wasn't just about steel and glass. It was about the resilience of the people. For years, the bathtub at Ground Zero was a sacred site of recovery. The city didn't just rebuild. It remembered. This chapter of New York's history is the ultimate testament to the idea that the city can be broken, but it can never be defeated. The rebirth was spectacular. One World Trade Center rose a 1,776-foot beacon of defiance and hope. But the new downtown was different. It wasn't just for bankers anymore. Old office buildings were converted into luxury lofts. The Oculus, a masterpiece of modern architecture, brought a futuristic light to the underground. Lower Manhattan transformed from a 9-to-5 business district into a 24-hour neighborhood. Waterfront parks replaced crumbling piers, and the skyline became a shimmering wall of glass, reflecting a city that was younger, wealthier, and more global than ever before. Today, in 2026, New York remains the world's greatest paradox. It is a city of billionaire towers that touch the stars and streets that still echo with the hustle of millions. From its humble beginnings as New Amsterdam to the soaring, sustainable skyline of today, Lower Manhattan has been destroyed, rebuilt, and reinvented a dozen times over. As we look out from the observation decks of the 21st century, we see more than just buildings. We see 400 years of ambition, immigration, and an unshakable belief that here, on this small island, anything is possible. The skyline will keep changing, but the heart of New York remains exactly what it has always been, a place that never stops reaching.